Hi everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to be addressing the elephant in the room, really, which is like when you're changing direction, there's always a question around, okay, so if I'm doing what I love, because presumably if you're changing direction, you're choosing something that you love more, right? So if I'm doing that, will I be okay? Will I have enough money? Will I be able to maintain the mortgage? Will I be able to run my family? Will I be able to do all of those things? Right. So it's the elephant in the room. So this whole energy really around doing what you love, building your lifestyle. I just want to be okay. Am I being a dreamer? And will I be financially secure? So regardless of your financial position at the moment, whether you're still in struggle or whether you're in multiple millions, whenever you're changing, it doesn't really matter. Whenever you're actually changing direction, there will always be these issues of money and survival. So I'm going to play in this energy a little bit, and I just got this huge energy. I was like, yeah, but I'm not doing it for the money. Well, that in itself is actually your shadow aspect of your money showing up. So, because it's not about the money, but well, it's not about the money, and there are a whole lot of other dynamics that go on in relationship to the quality of life and the lifestyle that you're choosing for yourself. And at this point in time, money is one of the energies that contributes to ease with that. So it's, and it's one of those energies where you're very much fighting for and fighting against it being a problem or it not being a problem. So I just want to acknowledge that. We're not going to go super into that because it's more of a best done kind of on a more personal level. However, because we have talked around ease and allowance, and you are on here on this planet to be the infinite being that you be, then we do have to address this elephant in the room. As I said, no matter what level of financial reality that you are at the moment. So I want to share a message that I received from the universe as I was putting this together. So this is a direct download in relationship to this particular module. There are no guarantees in the universe. There is no reward system. Money is not a constant like numbers of cause and effect. Money does not operate and function in that field of constants. It is not like maths. It is not 3 + 2 = 5. Money plays in transactions and exchanges, but those are the agreements of humans as to how it works. They are agreements, not constants or truths. Your world runs on so many agreements, and if these are neither right nor wrong, and you give yourself permission to operate with or without these agreements, then you have stepped into greater freedom. Okay, I hope that contributes something to you. So this module, there's going to be a fair bit of processing going on here. So because it's a topic that's talked about and we can talk about till you're blue in the face, I prefer just to process and move people through into greater flexibility and possibility. So when you're changing direction, this will be in your field somewhere as to how it will impact on your ability to live the life of your choosing on a purely physical, financial, house, food, schools, holidays world. So we're going to play with a whole lot of questions and process as we go, as I read the energy field. So what if you simply choose to have money regardless of what it is that you're doing or what it is that you're not doing? What if you having more money was very normal for you, regardless of where you are? That more was actually of your choosing. More money, more joy, more pleasure, more connection, more business, more relationships, more freedom. And anything that doesn't allow that, will you dissolve, disconnect, disinvest, de-identify and demodulate any and all of that? Just a simple yes or no. And anything that doesn't allow that goes to the point of trans, passes through and beyond polarity, and all of the emanating creations, miscreations, uncreations collapse, disintegrate, dissolve, and disappear in this reality or any other, in this dimension or any other. What if prosperity, prosperous stars, prosperous grass, prosperous seeds, prosperous money? What if prosperity was more than money and includes money? And anything and any part of you that wants to fight for that or fight against that, will you free that part to spirit? And will you invite the golden light of infinite prosperity into your being? Are you in this moment willing to collapse, disintegrate, dissolve and disappear all the meanings, significance, conclusions, illusions, delusions, and subjugations of all of your financial agreements, conscious, subconscious, unconscious, or superconscious? Just a simple yes or no. Are you willing to give yourself the absolute freedom beyond and including financial position and financial welfare? Are you willing to give yourself and choose absolute freedom? And anything that does not allow that goes to the point of trans, passes through and beyond polarity, and all of the emanating creations, miscreations, and uncreations collapse, disintegrate, dissolve, and disappear. Again, at a second level, are you willing to collapse, disintegrate, dissolve, and disappear all the meanings, significance, conclusions, illusions, and delusions that you have held in this lifetime or any other lifetime in relationship to your financial agreements, conscious, subconscious, or unconscious? Are you willing to do that? Just a simple yes or no. And anything that doesn't allow that goes to the point of trans, passes through and beyond polarity, and all of the emanating creations, miscreations, and uncreations collapse, disintegrate, dissolve, and disappear. Are you willing to trust life? Are you willing to trust light? Are you willing to engage in possibilities beyond all of your conditioning, programming, and intellectual concepts of money and finances, and what you have to do in order to have money or get money? And anything that's in the way of that goes to the point of trans, passes through and beyond polarity, and all of the emanating creations, miscreations, and uncreations collapse, disintegrate, dissolve, and disappear. Just taking a breath, just taking a minute. So as I've been talking about previously, if there's no right and wrong and there's no good and bad, and you enable yourself to be in spaces of dynamic neutrality and full freedom of choice, not because things are right or wrong or good or bad, but because you're choosing them from the essence of your being. So I want to talk a little bit about lack or limitation and conditionalities that are very much associated with finances. So when you're heading in a new direction, no, let me go back to this. So lack is a concept that's been created by humanity based in the story of separation. So, you know, eons ago, humanity decided they were going to show Creator how powerful they were by choosing to separate from unity. And so, which of course is an impossibility, but humanity convinced itself that it was actually separated. And so wherever we're separated from the truth of unity, then that's where all the lies come up, and they're all concepts, and humanity operates on lots of concepts of separation. And the one that we're talking about at the moment is the one of lack. And also in this day and age, there is also this kind of guarantee. So you remember from the beginning, at the beginning of that message from the universe, there's a lot of kind of new age energy that says that if you're doing your soul work, then you'll be everything will financially fall into place. But the thing is that money is only a concept, and so the conditions that we put on it are only those made up by humans. And so when you're changing directions, it's the same thing. The conditions, you're setting those up, not the universe. Humanity sets those up. And you get to choose whether you create a separation story or you create a unity story with the benevolent universe, and use your intelligence around the multitude of avenues that money can arrive into your world. You get to choose how expansive they are, and then with your intentions, you develop the connection to those pathways of reality. And so again, the programming and all those sorts of things, which we've started to break down for you today, when you're heading in a new direction, it'll be this common concern about whether you'll stay connected. Whether you'll stay connected to those streams, and that is entirely your choice, and you're intelligent people, and you will make choices that facilitate that flow into your world. So we just want to acknowledge that there is a survival mode fear that quite often comes up at some level when you are changing direction. So anywhere, anytime, or any place where that consciously, subconsciously, or unconsciously comes up into your being, are you willing to collapse, disintegrate, dissolve, and disappear? Any and all of that. Just a simple yes or no. And anything that doesn't allow that goes to the point of trans, passes through and beyond polarity, and all of the emanating creations, miscreations, and uncreations collapse, disintegrate, dissolve, and disappear. Any time or place where you have convinced yourself or been convinced by others that there are certain things that you must do in order to get money, and in all of those considerations, stories, implants, impregnations, programs, and institutionalizations that's stored in your body or your being, any and all of those go to the point of trans, pass through and beyond polarity, and all of the emanating creations, miscreations, and uncreations collapse, disintegrate, dissolve, and disappear. Anywhere where you become entangled in discussions and philosophical rationalizations around power and money. Any and all of that energy goes to the point of trans, passes through and beyond polarity, and all of the emanating creations, miscreations, and uncreations collapse, disintegrate, dissolve, and disappear. Anywhere where you've been fearful of talking about your ease with money, any and all of that energy goes to the point of trans, passes through and beyond polarity, and all of the emanating creations, miscreations, and uncreations collapse, disintegrate, dissolve, and disappear. Anywhere where you have never allowed yourself to talk about your ease with money, will you collapse, disintegrate, dissolve, and disappear? Any and all of that? Just a simple yes or no. Anything that doesn't allow it goes to the point of trans, passes through and beyond polarity, and all of the emanating creations, miscreations, and uncreations collapse, disintegrate, dissolve, and disappear. Anywhere where you have hidden or buried your channels of receptivity to money, currency, cash, crypto, all the currencies, past, present, and future, where you've buried those for whatever reason, and everything that is, goes to the point of trans, passes through and beyond polarity, and all of the emanating creations, miscreations, and uncreations collapse, disintegrate, dissolve, and disappear. All right, so there was a lot of energy in all of that, and lots of variations of themes. I think what was very interesting there was a little unexpected from my point of view, which I love, is how there's been a lot of varying of your capacity for financial wellness for whatever reason. And all of that is now in the process of deconstructing itself in your world. And there are, millions and millions of ways that money comes into your world. So, so money is unconditional, and so that the programming around having to work for it, what if you worked for money because of the joy of what you do and the pleasure that it brings to yourself and to your clients or customers? What if? Yeah. One of the analogies that sometimes supports people when they're changing direction is because money is unconditional. It's like air. So air doesn't go, oh, I'm not going to be breathed by that person over there because they're not very nice, or I'm not going to be breathed because, oh, they're greedy breathers, I'm not going to go over there. Air does not operate that way, and neither does money. Remembering that money is actually a concept without a human behind it, in and of itself, it does nothing. Yeah. And so that's why money doesn't make people greedy. People are greedy either. Anyway, if they weren't greedy with money, they'd be greedy with their time or greedy with their land. Like money doesn't make people anything. People are always anything. If anything, I've heard some people say that money exaggerates that. I'm not sure about that process. I haven't looked into that perception. I haven't looked into it a lot, but so when you're changing directions, just like air, it's everywhere. So money is everywhere. Financial stability, opportunity, they're everywhere. It's not conditional. You are the determiner of that. Like, you can stop breathing and you can stop receiving money. It's entirely entirely up to you. So any and all of the stories of empowerment and disempowerment based up and wrapped up in money, will you disinvest, deconstruct, de-employ, and demodulate any and all of that in this lifetime or any other, in this reality or any other, in this trajectory or any other? Just a simple yes or no. Excuse me. And anything that doesn't allow that goes to the point of trans, passes through and beyond polarity, and all of the emanating creations, miscreations, and uncreations collapse, disintegrate, dissolve, and disappear. Anywhere, anyhow, or any why where you are utilising money as the reason to hesitate, or money as the reason not to fully back yourself, will you disinvest, unidentify, detach, and demodulate any and all of that? Just a simple yes or no. And anything that doesn't allow that, your choice, goes to the point of trans, passes through and beyond polarity, and all of the emanating creations, miscreations, and uncreations collapse, disintegrate, dissolve, and disappear. So if you don't want to do any of these options, then you just say no, and anything that doesn't allow your no-ness of that also does that. So you're in complete choice here, because there is no right or wrong. There's only what you're choosing and what you're deciding. So yeah. So I want to talk a little bit too about freedom, because a lot of people, including me, used to work with me. Well, great, money gives you freedom. And again, the universe says to me, no, freedom is there, and then you just play with money inside your knowing of freedom. So money does not give you freedom. You know freedom, you choose freedom, and then you play with money inside of your freedom field. I love that. Oh yes. So, because we are ultimately free, freedom is unconditional. So interesting. I have such a big problem with the word unconditional, because it immediately is a condition. And so it's so interesting that it's coming out of my mouth in this recording, because I very rarely use it. So anywhere, just cleaning this up, anywhere, anytime, or any place where money has been, or you've been hiding it under, the money under the lifestyle or the stability, still able to do all of the things that I need to do, etc., etc. So any of that dynamic that's been contributing to hesitation, limitation, denial, or dismissing of what's actually calling you, will you disintegrate, detach, disinvest, and demodulate any and all of that? Just a simple yes or no. And anything that doesn't allow that goes to the point of trans, passes through and beyond polarity, and all of the emanating creations, miscreations, and uncreations collapse, disintegrate, dissolve, and disappear. So as that opens up your field, the next level of this change in direction for you is, it's more about what experience is my soul, is my infinite being actually inviting me to? Yeah. So we want to create this space outside of all of the limitations, the hardships, the non-allowance, the fightings, the I won't survive if I'm doing what I love, I won't be paid for if I'm doing what I love, any and all of that. It's like, oh, piss off. Like, oh, what's the experience my soul is actually inviting me? What's the next level my soul is inviting me into? Because when you feel that that nag, that pull, that little twitch, that sometimes it's a big shove up the ass, big light wedgie. When you feel that, you know that there's an invitation into greaterness and into difference. So when what we've done here is pulled out the elephant in the room that's kind of been sitting around, that's, it makes human sense, but it doesn't make possibility sense. Well, you can replace that now with, what is this next experience I'm being invited to, or what is this next level my soul is inviting to me? we have self, we have soul, we have source. And I must say that in the rapidly changing world with all the new light and all the new coding and so on that's being brought onto this planet, we're becoming less soul oriented and more to infinite being oriented, because the infinite being has no agenda, and it's truly infinite. But we're totally in transition from, I always talk about knowing yourself, knowing your soul, knowing source, because we are all source. But I just felt it really important in this particular module to acknowledge that, and you'll hear me in all my teachings, I'll swap from source to infinite being, because it is beyond even the soul. And it is definitely the energy that is becoming more active, if that's the right word. Languaging in this work sometimes is interesting. So, and the best thing we can do when we ask that question around, okay, so this next level that my soul's inviting me into, let me create space for that. And that's exactly what this is actually doing. These teachings are doing. You're actually creating more space, because you're getting all of the crappy stuff that actually wants to contain that out of it. And there's this space so that you can be in more awareness and then choose to follow that awareness, follow the energy, following what feels right rather than what feels right, and keep moving into it. And choosing from me, for me, knowing that that's the infinite, because everybody is the universe. So, yeah. So, and it comes back to the energy around intention a little bit as well. So you can work with what's the next level my soul is inviting me into. All of these things are about prompting you to stay in connection with the bigger picture and not get entangled with the small pictures. And so these intentions, so if it was a business related one, to increase my business is, well, then I'm serving more people, and again, this is like the freedom, the wave of freedom that you are actually calling in for yourself. And then you go, okay, so what choices then do I make for me to serve more people? Because this is what my soul is inviting me into. Then what do I do to let myself serve more people? What if I allowed myself to steward more people into their light? These were some of the questions that I was playing with. So you more and more and more, you're in your soul space. You're riding the freedom wave. What does that feel like? Yeah. And so these questions, what's the next level my soul is inviting me to, show me how to create the space for that. It's inviting it, and you'll get this download, oh, serving more people. Okay, then what can I do to let myself serve more people? That's the freedom wave. Oh, how do I ride that wave? That's what you're playing with. Oh, show me what that might look like. Show me the ways I can do that. Oh, well, that looks interesting. And then, things pop up in your field, as they do, as you've been asking for them. And you see them, you perceive them, because you're conscious of what you're asking for, conscious of what you're asking for, conscious of what you're asking for, instead of living unconsciously. When you become conscious of what you're asking for, you will perceive it and receive it and do with it. You're being, you're doing. Because what you're asking for is showing up, because you're consciously asking for something, which is what your soul is inviting you into. You keep following that energy. And that is your change direction. This is you in your soul space, riding the freedom wave. Toodly, toodly, toodly. So the other thing that I would like to introduce here too is the, and I mentioned this, I think it was either in the intro or in ease, was the power of space. And so when you're connecting, so what space can you have? So if you're worried about maintaining mortgage payments, it's like, okay, what's the spaciousness? How do I create, or what is my, showing me having more space around mortgage payments? Show me having more space around talking with my partner. Show me more space around my health. Because again, you know, quantum physics, the quantum world, quantum leaps knows, you know, that we're 99.999% space. But on a more this reality level, let's have a look at how much more fun it feels like when we have more space. And everybody's comfortable space is different. You know, some people like living in tiny homes. I would go mad in a week in a tiny home. So your relationship with space is your relationship with space, but spaciousness, it's fluid, and it's where, you know, whether you're in a tiny home or whether you're in a larger home, it has comfort, you know, not the lazy comfort, the type of comfort that enables you to take action. That means that you're not distracted by trying to get things right or make them work for you and spending all your time on trying to make something work for you other than actually creating something amazing. So this is what I mean by spaciousness. So what spaciousness can I be around money? Sorry, I just lost my track then. I've got about three different pathways coming down around which way we go. I've just got this big energy coming in again around any of the agreements that you have around money and any of the conditions that you have around money. So I think we'll do some expansion around those agreements. That's what I mean, so interesting, because we've shifted you through this call, which is one of the longer ones in the series. But yeah, these agreements. So come with me again if you like. So any and all of the conscious, subconscious, or unconscious agreements you have around money, what you can be with or without money, what you will be with or without money, what will happen to you if you do or do not have money, any and all of that energy, will you disinvest, deconstruct, disassemble, and demodulate any and all of that? Just a simple yes or no. And anything that doesn't allow that goes to the point of trans, passes through and beyond polarity, and all of the emanating creations, miscreations, and uncreations collapse, disintegrate, dissolve, and disappear. Any and all of the suppressions of your ability to create the life of your choosing based on your agreements with or without money, will you disinvest, deconnect, deconstruct, and demodulate any and all of that? Just a simple yes or no. And anything that doesn't allow that goes to the point of trans, passes through and beyond polarity, and all of the emanating creations, miscreations, and uncreations collapse, disintegrate, dissolve, and disappear. Anywhere or any time or any place where your creativity has been dependent on your financial position, will you demodulate your circuitry, psyche, and consciousness in relationship to that? Just a simple yes or no. And anything that doesn't allow that goes to the point of trans, passes through and beyond polarity, and all of the emanating creations, miscreations, and uncreations collapse, disintegrate, dissolve, and disappear. Internally, externally, eternally, and infinitely. Beautiful. So just get a beautiful big flash of all of your light kind of expanding straight out. It's like, oh, look at the freedom to create life truly in the way that you connect to, in a way that creates greater and better for not only yourself, but for everybody. So which one first? Ease. So I'm going to jump into ease a little bit here. So again, money doesn't generate ease. You choose to have ease at a certain point in your relationship with money. The ease is the choice, not the money. And so that relates back to, that's why ease was so important right up the front there, because you're choosing ease. And whatever your ease with money is there. You can be aware of it. And, you know, you can choose to change it any time. You know, like I have friends who are very comfortable with, I don't know how to describe this without using quantities, and quantities always kind of relevant. But what I want to say is people have different, like people can be completely at ease at different levels of how much money they have or they don't have. And I know that's obvious, but I just want you to know that what the point of this, the clarity in this, the potential for expansion for you in this is money is not the thing that gives you ease. You choose your point of ease and then create the money in relationship to it. Got it? And there are certain things that everybody is prepared to do or not do in relationship to money. So the level of honesty here, so when you're changing direction, you're actually you're asking yourself to be more honest with yourself, which is like with any change, you kind of go, oh, I've been avoiding that for a while, but now I actually really have to attend to it and have a look at it. So you are actually being more honest with yourself. But money does not create ease. You choose your ease point and then create money around it, your relationship with money around it. Yeah, beautiful. Okay. So some of the frequency elevators that we can have in relationship to this in terms of survival, lifestyle, life by design, energies when you're changing direction. So we want all of these questions that elevate your frequency. Yep. So, oh, these are interesting. I wrote these before we did this. Well, I'll share these ones. We might have some other ones as well. So these frequency elevations. If you were money, how would you be in your life? So, oh yeah, no, this is really good. I can feel the energy of this now. So it's like when you're changing direction, if you were money, how would you be in your new direction? Yeah. Oh yeah, no, that's good. If money were expanding your life, what is it doing? Because these are all concepts. You see, money of itself is nothing, but the concept that you play with it is of your choosing. So if money were expanding your life, what is it doing? What is it doing? Yeah. What space and vibe do you choose to be with money? What space and vibe do you choose to be with money? So rather than making money all the thing, it's like, what about you? What do you choose? Yeah. So play with those frequency elevations. Oh, yes, 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 yes. Totally, 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 totally. And hopefully, I just want you to tune in what I'm sensing from the beginning of this module and this teaching to where we are now, that there's a whole lot more space available for you to choose this direction. So all of the energies feel like there's less scattered and there's more of this, like you're in this, what I was talking about before about the freedom wave. Like there's this more freedom to make choices and move the energy in with your choices and your decisions. And I hope you sense that too, and that you incorporate it in changing the direction and for a greater life, greater ease, greater love, greater being. Again, thank you again so much for being here. Much love, and we'll see you in the next module. Bye for now.